Adi, did you know that some of the biggest chocolate companies almost failed because of family drama and, like, actual wild animals in the factory?
Oh, absolutely. The story of the Cadbury and Rowntree families is way more dramatic than you'd think. Imagine, you're trying to save your chocolate business, but you're also dealing with grief, poverty, and, get this, a boa constrictor loose in the warehouse.
Wait, a real snake? In a chocolate factory?
Yep. But let's start with Richard Cadbury. In 1868, just as his chocolate business was finally taking off, his wife Elizabeth died suddenly, right after giving birth to their fourth child. He was only 32, left with four little kids. All their hard work, and then, boom, his whole world changes overnight.
That's heartbreaking. How did he even manage with four kids and a business?
Wasn't easy. Quakers like Richard were expected to handle grief with quiet strength. Jessie, his daughter, later said her father was everything to them. He'd carry them on his shoulders, listen to their problems, even when he was exhausted from work.
So he just powered through? That sounds impossible.
In a way, yeah, but instead of shutting down, Richard actually became more involved with his kids. And get this, he also started a nursery for poor and abandoned children in the neighborhood. He rented a house, brought in a friend named Emma Wilson. She was a widow with 7 kids of her own, super capable, and together they cared for dozens of kids.
He lost his wife, had 4 kids, and still found time to help other families? It's wild.
It really is. And it's one of those moments where personal tragedy leads to bigger social good. Richard's own loss made him more empathetic, more driven to help others. It's a pattern you see even now, people turning grief into action.
Like when people start charities after losing someone close?
Exactly. Or when companies today talk about social responsibility, it's not a new idea. Richard Cadbury was doing it 150 years ago.
But what about the snake? I need to know about the snake.
Oh, right. So sometimes Richard brought his kids to the factory. One day, his son Barrow watched as boxes arrived from overseas. Suddenly, a huge boa constrictor slithered out of one of the crates. Total chaos. 2 men pinned it down with bags of sugar and cocoa.
That's insane. I'd run for my life.
Barrow did. He hid in the cocoa essence room, but got caught and scolded, not for running, but for breaking hygiene rules. Even with snakes on the loose, the Cadburys were strict about cleanliness. No exceptions.
That's actually kind of impressive. But it also sounds like they were barely hanging on.
They were. The Cadbury brothers had no money left. Their whole future depended on whether people liked their cocoa, literally, whether customers were charmed by a cute girl and kitten on the chocolate box lid.
So they were just one bad month away from losing everything?
Pretty much. And they weren't alone. Over in York, the Rowntree family was in trouble too. Joseph Rowntree ran a successful grocery shop, but his brother Henry's chocolate factory was a mess, huge, expensive, and not making money.
Did Joseph just let his brother fame?
No, and this is where it gets interesting. Joseph was a serious Quaker. He believed it was his duty to help family in trouble. He'd studied poverty, written papers about social injustice, and felt responsible for Henry.
So he put his own money into the chocolate factory?
He did. He pulled his inheritance out of his safe grocery business and invested it in Henry's struggling factory. Joseph took over the finances, hoping he could turn things around.
That's a huge risk. Why would he do that?
For Joseph, it was about more than money. Quaker values taught him to help others, even at personal cost. Plus, he believed that with the right management, the factory could succeed. He'd seen how poverty could trap families. He didn't want that for his own.
That sounds a lot like family businesses today. People still debate whether you should bail out a struggling sibling or keep business and family separate.
Exactly. And the same questions about responsibility, risk, and ethics are still with us. Should you help family, even if it hurts your own security? When does helping become enabling?
So did Joseph fix the factory?
Well, it wasn't easy. The place was chaotic. There were parrots distracting workers, donkeys wandering around, and the accounts were a mess. Joseph had to bring order to total chaos. But his attention to detail and commitment to fairness eventually helped stabilize the business.
That's so relatable. Even now, So many startups are basically held together with duct tape and hope.
Through. And it shows how the roots of today's business challenges, work life balance, family drama, social responsibility go way back. The Cadburys and Roundtrees were dealing with the same stuff we are, just with more snakes and donkeys.
And it's not just about chocolate, is it? It's about how people handle loss, risk, and responsibility.
Exactly. Whether it's a Victorian chocolate factory or a modern tech startup, the big questions haven't changed. How do you balance personal grief with public duty? When do you step in to help, and when do you let someone fail?
I never thought the story behind chocolate was this intense. It's kind of comforting though, knowing people back then struggled with the same things we do now.
That's why these stories matter. They remind us that business isn't just about profit. It's about people, choices, and values, and sometimes about chasing snakes out of the cocoa room.
So next time I see a chocolate bar, I'll think about family drama, social responsibility, and maybe a runaway parrot.
Exactly. The past doesn't repeat, but it definitely rhymes. And sometimes it leaves a sweet aftertaste.
That's it for today's episode on Fun Learn Talks, where stories from business, technology, and history keep your curiosity alive. If you enjoyed the journey, make sure to follow, rate, or share it with a fellow curious mind. And hey, we'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment or connect with us online. I'm Anu, and I'll catch you next time, right here on Fun Learn Talks. Until then, keep learning, keep wondering.